Good afternoon. God's peace be with you. We said last week that we were going to talk about healing, and today that's what we are going to do. God revealed himself in so many different ways to his chosen people, the people of Israel. If they were going to walk with him, follow him, worship him, then they needed to know him fully well, without any doubts lingering on their minds. So God revealed himself to them. At some point, they got to know him as the God who took them from Egypt, the God of the plagues, bringing water from the rocks for them to drink, and so on. The same goes for us today, that if we worshippers of God are planning to walk with God, follow him, worship him, serve him, and do everything that God requires that we do, then it's important that we also get to know this God very well. The God who divided the Red Sea, the plagues in Egypt, manna from heaven to a hungry people who are out there on the hot desert. All these things made them see God in so many different dimensions. It was not just one way of looking at God. We also have come to know God in these manifestations, including knowing God as the God of peace. Sometimes it looks like we don't see all these manifestations in God in our lives. But God gives us directions for knowing him well, so that we can serve him well. He said, I am the Lord your God, who brought you out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of slavery. You shall worship the Lord your God, and I will bless your bread and your water, and I will take sickness away from among you. I will bless your bread and your water, and I'll take sickness from among you. Exodus 22, verse 25. That is where the bulk of what we are talking about comes from. But in spite of all of that, sickness sometimes does come. And God gives further assurance. Before God said, I will take sickness away from among you, he had said in Exodus 15:16, if you will listen carefully to the voice of the Lord your God and do what is right in his sight, obeying his commands and keeping all his decrees, then I will not make you suffer any of the diseases I sent on the Egyptians, for I am the Lord who heals you. So yes, sicknesses may come, but this same God we are talking about is the God who heals you. James knew that as humans, we are prone to do things that might make us sick. So he asked, if any of you is sick, let them call the elders, surround him, say prayers, anoint him with oil, and then he continues, the prayer of the righteous will avail much. James 5:14-15. The Lord shall raise the sick person up, and if he has committed any sins, they shall be forgiven. The thing which weakens us the most is sickness. Sickness is frightening because in many cases it is our reminder that we could be going to our death. When you are sick, especially seriously sick, that is the time your enemies begin to think that they have got you. David fell in a situation like this. And when he said, "O Lord, have mercy on me, heal me, for I have sinned against you." David linked his illness with his sinfulness, or the sins that he had committed. He continues, "But my enemies say nothing but evil about me. They ask, how soon will he die and be forgotten? They visit me," David continues, "as if they were my friends, but all the while they gather gossip, and when they leave, they spread it everywhere. He's sick. And who hates me, all who hate me, whisper about me, imagining that the worst was going to happen to me. He has some fatal disease," they say. "He will never get out of that bed. Even my best friend," says David, "the one I trusted completely, the one who shared my food with me, has turned against me. Lord, have mercy," he continues. "Make me well again so I can pay them back." Let us note that this "pay them back" does not mean that David wished that he could also make those enemies who laughed at him sick. That is not what this meant. While he was sick, they were laughing at him. He has a fatal disease. Bad thing is going to happen to him. He cannot get out of that bed. And they were laughing at him. So David is asking God to heal him and restore him to health. Then he will go and show himself to those who mocked, gossiped, and wished that he was going to die. And then he will put them to shame. That's what this "pay them back" actually means. In our sickness, let us remember that our restoration is in the hands of God. He formed us out of dust, and only He can put us right. Therefore, pray for yourself when sickness attacks you. Say, "God, I can only come to you, and no one alone, for strength in my weakness. I can come to you and you alone for strength and weakness. Touch me by your hand and make me whole." That is what we are going to God to say. And also, let us learn from Jeremiah, who said, "O Lord, if you heal me, I will be truly healed. If you save me, I will be truly saved. My praises are for you alone." Jeremiah 17:14. Mind you, there's no mention so far of devil. There's no mention so far of even our enemies putting the sickness on us. The enemies just come and watch us and laugh at us and wish that the sickness would get more serious and we would die. But there's no mention that our enemies have put sickness upon us, or that Satan has put sickness upon us, or anybody has put sickness upon us. It is God that they all hold responsible for their situation. When the woman with the issue of blood touched Jesus' garment and came and knelt before Jesus, Jesus said to her, "Daughter, your faith has made you well. Go in peace. Your suffering is over." Yes, that's what we want to hear when we are sick. Your suffering is over. And only Jesus can pronounce that. It may be that you are praying on behalf of someone else who is sick. First, remember that you are not telling God anything that God doesn't know. So express your fear and sadness and anxiety that you feel in a reassured way to God. It is because you feel these things that you are praying on behalf of the sick person. God knows what is going on inside the body of that person, much more than you can know. Some illnesses are not physical, they are spiritual. Recognize these illnesses, and whether for yourself or someone else, remember John's prayer for Gaius. John said in 3 John 1 verse 2, I hope all is well with you, and that you are as healthy in body as you are strong in spirit. I hope you are healthy in body as you are in spirit. The scripture tells us how important our health and our healing is to God. And Jesus went about all the cities and villages, teaching in their synagogues and preaching the gospel of the kingdom. And note this, and healing every sickness and every disease among the people. Matthew 9 verse 35. So healing was that important to Jesus. Yes, he preached. Yes, he taught people. Yes, he did many other miracles. But healing was central to the demonstration of the power of God that he had. The reading that we had from James about sickness and prayer ended by saying that the effective, fervent prayer of the righteous produces powerful results. Your own sickness, the person that you are praying for, the sickness that frightens us may make enemies laugh at us, but as I've said, they don't cause illness. Of course, somebody can physically put poison in your drink and cause you to be sick. But, that's not what we are talking about here. But even in those circumstances, if you have the chance, pray to God. Say to God, only you do I come to for healing, as you saw. Heal me, and I shall be healed, as you saw in Jeremiah. I want to end here by saying that God values our physical health in as much as he values everything about us. Sickness might make us frightful, might make us depressed, might make us afraid. Sickness means that we cannot do the things that we want to do. We may be too weak even to go out and to come in. What God is saying through James chapter 5 is that the prayer of a righteous, is the earnest prayer, the fervent prayer of a righteous person produces powerful results. The effective, fervent prayer of a righteous person produces powerful results. God bless you. Next week, we will be looking at troubles that can frighten or trouble us. Frighten or disturb us. Into God's hands I leave you. May he remain with you. Amen.